I'm recording. So how it works is if I go in with my Fathom, it starts recording, but it's not recording Zoom. So it's Fathom's recording. So that's I have to record via Zoom as well. That's the one that I put on YouTube. So what I'm going to be talking about today is the bad. I'm not going to be talking about the ugly. I'll do that on another week. I'll do that another time. That's the impact on society. But I'm going to talk about the things that's going to impact us like now. These are some of the things that impact us now. And if you want to navigate this space, sometimes it's really important to know what you're up against. So it's all well and good knowing the great stuff of what we can do and what we can't do, but some of the things that's going to hold us back will be some of the things I'm going to talk about today. So I'm just going to go through 12 of these things. So Ian, UK time change, yes. And it's still light outside, which is, it feels weird. I'm delivering this and it's still light outside. So I know obviously there's people from in fact, where's everyone tuning in from? We've got New York in the house. We've got New York in the house as well, Miriam. Whereabouts in New York are you? You got, oh yeah, New Jersey. You got Northwest, North Wheezy, Cass. Sardinia. Oh, wow. Sardinia. Amazing. I'd love to go there, actually. Where's everyone else from? I'm in Spain. I'm in a town called Calpe, or Benissa, actually. We've got Brighton. I love Brighton, one of my favorite places in the UK. Used to be, used to go there all the time, actually. Always had fun there. Used to have really good club nights in Brighton. Big fan. All right, let me share my screen. Not going to use sound today, but okay. So here we go. This, as I said, this is all about what is going to impact us. So I'm going to go through 12 internal challenges. Now, we if we ignore these, if we don't address some of these, some of them will impact you immediately. Some of them might not impact you, but it might impact you either down the line or it's going to impact your fellow friend, your fellow colleague, etc. What's important is just understanding, as I said, either how we navigate it or how we're gonna essentially make it not so much of an issue for us. So let's go through the 12. One, and I actually think this is going to be one of the toughest challenges for everyone, especially in the world of marketing, is the algorithm. When you break down social media, when you break down Facebook, when you break down YouTube, when you break down Instagram, when you break down TikTok, it doesn't matter which one, the algorithm impacts all of them. Because if I want my content to be seen, which is going to be in the news feed, if it's not on the algorithm, the only way I'm going to see it is if I search something and it comes up. And by YouTube, none of them, TikTok kind of, none of them really has a strong search presence. YouTube and Pinterest, they have by far the best too. Then another way is somebody shared it with you. So I might have seen something on Instagram and I click share and I send it to my friends on WhatsApp or whoever on WhatsApp. That's another way. Or somebody knows who you are, so they just go directly to your profile, or you've done an ad. Other than that, algorithms. And algorithms is probably 80 to 90% of what you see on your feed. So one of the key things is understanding algorithms. Now, I'm not going to break down exactly how algorithms work today. I can, if you guys are interested, I can do easily a whole hour on just on algorithms, how they work for each platform. But if we don't understand the algorithms, we're always going to struggle on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. AI, the way algorithms work, pretty much, there's two types of algorithms. You've got the traditional algorithm, which is to do with the followers, how many people follow you, and it goes to a small percentage of people. And then you've got the algorithm, which is popular now, which is the relevancy algorithm or the interest algorithm. This is the algorithm that if I'm looking at cameras, all of a sudden my whole feed is going to be full of people talking about cameras. If I'm interested in saunas, that's all I'm going to see for a period of time. The reason why this is actually a pretty good algorithm is because if you don't have a huge following, you can go from 0 to 1 million very quickly if you target it right. So, one of the AIs that's going to impact us as marketers, content creators, and everyday people will be algorithms. So, we really need to understand how we can get our content seen. Another one, and I get this a lot, is my job safe? This one is a huge worry. And I'm not going to come here and say, yes, it is. Because the reality is, AI will have a huge impact on jobs. However, that happens in every revolution. That happens. There's a reason why we went from hundreds of people plowing stuff in the field and picking stuff in the field to a tractor. There's a reason why technology has replaced humans throughout history. AI is going to do the same. But what I think is going to happen the step before, and feel free, like all of these things that I'm saying to you, this is not like, this is a lot of it is my opinion. So feel free to jump in if you've got an opinion on any of these. But what I think is going to impact us first goes down to one of the sayings that I've heard for many, many years now. And that is AI won't take your job. People who use AI will take your job, at least at first. AI eventually will get there in a lot of cases, not all cases, but a lot of jobs. But I think we're a long way from AI building this house or AI decorating the room or AI. Like, I was watching a podcast the other day and a guy said, soon electricians are going to be charging what lawyers charge. So it's going to be almost flip reverse there. Now, and something I've been saying a lot on the podcast is this. If you hold some form of responsibility, I actually think your job is going to be quite safe as well. And what I mean by that is, I don't think we as humans like to blame people here. Right now, there's, even though you're not allowed to say the word war, right now there is a war going on. And some people are saying it's their fault, and some people are saying it's their fault, and some people are saying the reason why the oil can't get in is because it's there. It's like everyone's blaming each other. We live in a blame society, always have. If you work for a company and you hired an agency to do something and it went horrifically wrong, and you went up to the agency and said, look, what happened? And the agency turned around and says, sorry, it wasn't us, it was ChatGPT's fault. You're not going to turn around and say, okay, then cool. Don't worry then. All right. Sorry. That ChatGPT, that OpenAI. Like, you're going to be angry at the agency. You're going to say, like, I don't care what AI you used, you still messed up. So because of that, because people still want to blame somebody, or no, I won't say blame, hold accountable, because accountability also is the opposite end as well. It is also positive. I actually think that's going to be a positive thing. So as I've said before, my job is I want to teach entrepreneurs. I want to teach people who have with an entrepreneurial mindset that works within organizations. That's really my kind of primary group of people, and then as well as entrepreneurs as well. So if you work and you've got a job, these are some of the things just to be wary of. It's not initially, AI won't replace your job. It will eventually, certain jobs, of course. It'll be people who use AI. What I've seen is I don't know anybody that's had their job replaced with AI. I don't know anyone. Some people might, but I personally don't know anyone who's lost a job because of AI. I know people whose jobs have changed, or tasks, I should say, within that job has changed. That's what we're seeing right now. Somebody who worked in customer service before, certain tasks has changed in their job. That's what we're seeing. That's what I'm seeing. And that's what a lot of research is showing right now. So Miriam, Queens, whereabouts are you? South Jamaica Are you what area of Queens are you? Miriam, so true. Yes, plumbers too. Basically, who are you paying? Yes. Yeah, that's the key thing. Who are you paying? Where does your money go? Glenn, some photographers know lost some freelance to AI artists. Yeah, again, some jobs are, and there's going to be some jobs that's going to be almost immediately. But as you know, Glenn, and when we do the Tuesday thing with Chris, the as a photographer, as a video editor, as somebody in the world of creative, embracing these tools can lead you in areas that you probably wouldn't even imagine. I've said this many times. We're in the golden era, and the golden era is going from here to here quickly. I'm seeing this every week in AI Live. People that were just working in a production company now are being hunted by some of the biggest companies in the world a year later or a couple of years later. The only times I've ever seen this is when Instagram short videos and the whole influencer and TikTok you can add in there, MySpace, and the YouTube era, and Google ads and search. They're the only times in my 25 years working full time in this space that I've seen that type of growth quickly. So, what we want to be able to do is take advantage of that. So, that's another one I've seen. A third one, the skill gap, which kind of goes into what I've just said. If you do not start embracing these tools, or at least know what you're up against, in the next 8 months, I think it's going to be very difficult to catch up. I think it's going to be, I wouldn't say impossible, but what's going to happen is the gap between people that are using it and not using it is just going to grow. And then if you start using it in a year's time, you'll be like, okay, cool. What is this? Oh, okay, let me try and do this. Your white belt level, what everyone's got 2, 3 years experience on you, so they know where to go. They know how to do certain things. They're already way up the belt system, and it's not like before where it's gonna like a learning curve is gonna go like that. You've got AI to help you, so your learning curve's always gonna go like that at a faster rate. So it's almost going to be the opposite of going down the hill with momentum. You're going up the hill, but with a huge push. So I think the skill gap is going to increase. You're already seeing it in AI video right now. You know, like if I started trying to do the films now, I'm like, I can't catch up with PJ Ace and all of the other guys because they spent a year and a half practicing and perfecting the prompts and all of this, being invited to creator programs, getting free credits. So you're seeing this already, the skill gap. But as I said, we're still in the infancy stage. Now is the time to jump on it and learn. You don't want to be doing this 2 years' time because it's going to be very expensive and you're going to be left behind. So I say I'll put that as a bad. Another thing, resources. Now, when it comes to resources, this kind of goes down to three things: skill, which I just spoke about, skill gap, time, and money. AI is supposed to save us time. I've not really seen that. I'm just as busy as I've always been. Because what's more important to you? All right, I'm going to ask this, and please answer this in the chat. There's no right answer. I'm always just curious. If you've got, if AI saved you 2 hours, do you now spend the next 2 hours perfecting that, or do you do more? So quality over quantity. Who picks quality and who picks quantity? Just put in the chat quality or quantity. If you've got an extra 2 hours, do you work on that one or two things and perfect it, or do you create more because you've got more time? So we've got quality, 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 quality. So everyone's gone for quality. Now that might sound obvious. Yeah, I'll go for quality. But going back to the algorithms, there is a saying that content is king, or quality content is king. I actually don't agree with that. I've not agreed with that since I started MySpace, to be honest. Because in the traditional world where there was only TV, radio, and print, yes, because you had distribution. So I could go on if I was in America, NBC or CNN or Fox or any of the channels in America. Or if you're in the UK, I can get it my stuff on the BBC or on ITV. But as soon as digital came out, and all of a sudden you've gone from a few channels to 100 channels, and then the internet came out, who owns distribution? So all of a sudden you can create amazing content, but if nobody sees it, so what? So you can spend 2 hours on the perfecting the quality, but unless you know how to promote it, i.e., the algorithms, so what? So I always will go into the camp of quality, but I think what you're seeing, or what a lot of people who's got quality is losing to, are people that's got quantity. I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure most of you know Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V. And he was saying that he posts 400 pieces of content a day now, and he's trying to get people to do that. I think that's, to me, yeah, it makes sense if you're a multimillionaire and you've got a team of people who now can use AI as well. But I don't, going back to time, I think that's a big thing as well. So Miriam said, also quality is a measure judged by the individual. Yes. So what you might think is slop, another might, yeah, exactly. What what one person thinks is beautiful, another person thinks is ugly. And quality or content is subjective. Glenn, but he has a huge staff, exactly. Gary V. Ad pollution. That's the other thing as well. If you start putting out quantity, you're just putting a whole bunch of AI stuff out there, like slop, essentially. But the algorithms seem to be favoring that. And that's the battle that we're kind of going into. And what does it become? Yeah. At what does it become slop? Or I'm not sure the question there, Makushia. Did you see this? Oracle lays off 30,000 staff with 6 a.m. email. Oof. Actually, I'm not gonna post that. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. You know what? The other thing as well, going back to what we were saying there, Lawrence, or what I was saying before about job. I actually also don't think the infrastructure's in place. I don't think right now. I'm saying right now. So as if April, it's April Fool's Day. Trust me, this is not an April Fool's joke. What I'm saying, but right now, I don't think the infrastructure's in place to just lay off a whole bunch of people without problems. They've said they're laying off 30,000 staff. Be interesting to see where, who as well. Because yeah, I just, again, Oracle's a tech company, big tech company, but the general like workforce, I just don't see it being in place. Not for a while anyway. Anita, maybe he is using an AI agent. Are you talking about Gary Vaynerchuk? He's just got a lot of people working for him. It might be they might be using agents as well. Uh, at what point does it become slop? Yeah, again, that's the point is an opinion, I think, as well. So resources, time, skill, and the last is money. We're still in the golden era, so we can still play around with a lot of this stuff for free or very small amount. I don't think that's going to last much longer. I think this time next year, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a £2,000 a month large language model, like tier from, they'll all do it. If Gemini comes out with one, trust me, OpenAI, Claude, Perplexity, they'll have one within the next 6 weeks of that. And that 2001 is going to be the agent, because they'll look at it and say, this agent can replace 5 members of staff, which will cost you £2,000 or $2,000 each. So why spend that on staff when you can just get one agent? So I think that's coming. And if you then get that level, I think what you're going to get for free is going to be at best a model that was 6 months old. Then the £20 a month model, which most people pay for, is going to be pretty much what you get on the free model now. And then the £200 model is pretty much what you get for what we're paying for now. I can see that. I just don't see why they won't, because these companies are losing a lot of money, and they're either going to have to make money via subscriptions, up in the subscription, ads, or both. And trust me, like Netflix, they're going to do both. They're going to do both. Glenn, what happens to those who can't afford it and are uninterested in AI? That's the thing. That is the thing, Glenn. When I work with a lot of people, I say to the latter, I not interested in it. I say you don't have to be interested in it, but at least know what you're up against. If you want to work, if you want to make money, if you want to survive in this world, it's going to be almost impossible to avoid AI, because AI is going to be included in everything. Know what you're up against. So you don't have to use it, but at least know why other people are doing X, Y, and Z. For the first bit, what happens if you can't afford it? That's a big worry to me. That kind of goes into the ugly stage of things. That's when I talk about the impact on society. So there's going to have to be something that they're going to have to be able to do. But I think that the free versions will be it will be 6, 7, 8 month old versions that they'll, like legacy models that they just don't want to kill, and they'll give that away for free. Yeah, Anita, as I said, without a doubt, the question I get the most when I do AI courses is its impact on the environment, and I do a lot of negative. Hence why I created the good, the bad, the ugly. Also, I'm a Libra, so I'm balanced. So I also like to kind of say, right, this is the good, here's the bad and the ugly. Um, are you a Libra too? When's your birthday? I'm 4th of October, October the 4th. 18th. Good, good, good. October. And you're the second. Oh wow. Yeah, big up to the October crew in the house. All right. So another one, over reliance on AI. Oof. I think we're all kind of guilty of this to an extent. Um, and not so much we're just lazy. We just think, yeah, ChatGPT can just answer this. Or ChatGPT, can you make this? Or whatever platform. Or can you just do that? Can you do that? It goes down. It's like I can't think anymore. It's that over reliance on it, and I think this is something that I feel most of us are kind of guilty for. Yeah, it's the new calculator, it's the new mobile phone, it's the new, like, everything to you. Now, when it comes to over reliance, a lot of, again, people's asked me, how do you deal with this? I actually think this is more of an internal mental thing, and that is a discipline thing rather than anything else. I don't think there is a tool out there that will say, like, you can get these tools that will, like, if you're using social media, it will stop after 30 minutes. I'm sure you can do that, but I don't see the point in that. I would say it's a discipline thing. It's saying, right, I'm good at this. I want to do this. My goal is this in a certain amount of time. This is what I'm going to focus on, and I'll let AI do the other things. That's a discipline thing for you. Like, one of the things that I do a lot in my training now, and I'll eventually bring it in this, is a saying: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, build a team, or you need a team around you. The beauty of it, that saying now, is that if you're an individual, an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, and you want to go far, you can build a team. It's just that that team now is AI. Your boss might not give you staff. That's still fine. I can still build a team. So I'm doing a lot of training. In fact, what I'm doing next week is, no, the week after, is building, showing them how to build teams. This is a big thing if we want to go far. Once I build a team, I can focus on the things that I like to do. AI can do a lot of the other stuff. They can do the heavy lifting. So that's more of a discipline thing rather than just AI just does everything. If you listen to people, oh, why AI agents, it does that, and then I can just go to the beach and I come back and AI has just made me £10,000 this today. Like, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. I've seen that spiel since, I would say, since my, at least 10, 20 years. I've heard that spiel when I first started looking at how can I use the internet to make money. I've fallen for it many, many times. And then I realized that, and this was the last time I kind of fell for it. Well, I say fell for it. I did make a bit of money when I was selling stuff on Amazon. And that was 2017, I believe. And after that, I just said, you know what? Let me just do it the old fashioned way. No shortcuts, no this, no that. Just do it the old fashioned way. And out of everything that I've done, doing it the old fashioned way has made me way more money than trying to go for shortcuts and all of these things. So let's go back to some questions. In China, they turn off AI allowance for students. It's smart, structured, and healthy to regulate it. China's got some good things that I hear as well. It's like the algorithms on TikTok. There's certain things that they show people. Like at the moment, we're talking about a social media ban. I actually think to ban social media is very, very difficult for young people. But you could at least try and control the algorithm. That's the issue. The social media is not it's the algorithm. It's them seeing all of the things. Now, if you wanted them throwing bullying, then you need to then ban WhatsApp or text messages because that's where a lot of the bullying happens as well. But they're not talking about that. They're talking about more of the platforms. China controls the algorithm on TikTok, what people can and can't see. They could quite easily show people more uplifting stuff, more tutorials, more how to do certain things that help them with studies. You don't have to be showing them fight videos every other piece of content. Ian said this causes everything becoming very similar. Creativity drops and think. Yeah, exactly. That's actually another one coming up. Lack of creativity. Think equals think. Yeah. Anita, but it has been wrong and you really need to check it also. What's been wrong again? Sorry, Anita. Chat, yeah, oh yeah, Chat GPT. Hallucinations is coming up as well. That's coming up as well. Glenn, but for the next generation who are born in the world of fully functioning AI, will they just fall in line with the rest of the community and just use AI for everything? Because yeah, I think they will. Um, Now, sometimes if that's all they know, that's all they know. But one thing I'm so glad my dad taught me, I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, I think, that he taught me long division. And I remember thinking, why do I need to learn long division? I'm going to walk around with a calculator all the time. And he was like, no, you're not. You got that one wrong. We do walk around with a calculator all the time. But I still know that if someone said, what is 67,000 divided by 432 or times with a pen and a paper, I know how to work it out. Do I need to use it? Not really, because I've got a calculator everywhere, but it's still good to know. And that is something that I actually think if you want to keep your brain active, if you want to still being creative, still do it. Now, the other thing as well that I find is that a lot of these AI models are done by people that all they want to do is shortcut. Let's come up with this way to shortcut this, shortcut that. And they're ignoring fun. I really think the digital age is split between people is behavior and technology. They're the two things that ruin it. Another way of saying it is human psychology and data and logic. And they look at data and logic and completely ignore the human side of things. You know, I like doing this. I like doing that. I like creating videos. I like doing podcasts. Why do I want to take myself out of the equation and use AI to do it? Actually, I enjoy doing this. Why don't we just do stuff so it can be fun? Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But they're trying to program us to just shortcut everything. And I don't think we should. Hallucinations. Here you go, Anita. There's the next slide. Hallucinations. Yes, this is the big thing. It's getting it wrong. In fact, I posted in my WhatsApp group. So if you're not in the WhatsApp group, please join. Go to my website, andrewmilesdavis.com. Click on the menu at the top, go to WhatsApp, join. I give you news every day. I posted, or I'm about to post tomorrow. I can't remember if I posted it today or I'm about to post tomorrow. That, it's definitely, I've posted it already because someone had texted me to say that's true. Um, Claude, and this is like the darling one at the moment, Claude, it's it ignores your requests. It's getting worse. It's not even getting it wrong. It's just completely ignoring your instructions. And I've noticed that with Claude. I tell it to do something and it just completely ignores it and does what it says. And that's when I start getting angry with it. I'm still in the honeymoon period with Claude. I'm getting angry with it, but it's still, Claude, stop doing that. Where on ChatGPT, it's you effing C word. I can't believe you've done that. Da, da, da. Like I'm really going at ChatGPT and Gemini. So yeah, the hallucinations. And I also heard that they actually do it on purpose for people's reaction. And also they just want to see, yeah, a lot of it is people's reaction to it. So they could get, so that people can correct it and they know the right answer. But if they correct it, they kind of solidifies the answer. Lawrence, do you find perplexity hallucinates less than the other? Yeah. I'm actually starting to see models are better for different things. I still 100% believe that if you train a model, you don't really need all of them. They're all good enough, more than good enough. But if I need an answer to a question, I go to Perplexity. That's my first port of call, Perplexity. And I find it hallucinates a lot less because it's got a lot of the sources. Like pretty much for every answer, it'll tell you where it got it from. Now, it's relying on whoever put it on their website is telling the truth. And that's the thing that not many people talk about. Well, is it true that it's on the website? And as we know by watching the news, we shouldn't believe everything we see, read, or hear. So many people I know yell at their, yeah. I used to be like, don't swear at them, don't yell at it because you never know when it's going to take over and be like, oh, Andrew, you was nice to me. Now I'm like, forget that. Like it's causing me too much stress. It's causing me so much stress. So yeah, I will tell it about itself. Like, but as I said, Claude is still in the honeymoon period, but I think by the end of the month, if it starts getting things wrong or ignoring me, it won't be. ChatGPT will tell me good catch when I tell it that it's not correct. Yeah, and that's passive aggressive. I hate that. Oh, thanks for catching that or good catch and all that. I'm like, yeah, but it was still wrong. And it's like, oh, don't worry. Like probably about 2 hours before this session, it got something wrong, and I was like, oh, you're making my life hell. Stop doing it. I don't want you to do it anymore. And then it still then said, oh, I'm sorry. And then it then said, and then it tried to do it again, and then it got it wrong again when when I told it not to do it. It then done it again, so then it corrected. It got, and that just made me even more mad. I actually think it's doing it on purpose. It's like a kid that just knows how to wind you up. This is a big one. This is the one that I get a lot. Data privacy. I could spend a whole hour on this alone. This is an internal challenge as well as a big problem, but is my data safe? What happens to certain things that I put up that's sensitive? If I'm working with staff, how do we stop them putting stuff up? What large language model is the safest? Do I set up my own large language model? All of this is, we're still trying to work out. And when I say we, you're included in that as well. We're all trying to work out how safe these models are and how private they are. I was reading today that Claude got, was it Claude? Somebody got hacked today or some, not hacked, but something. Yeah, I think it was hacked or something got
Yeah, it
sent.
was leaked.
It was leaked. Yeah, that was it. It was leaked. So you got to think to yourself, be cautious. The safest thing I've seen is people creating their own large language model, but obviously with that you're limited. But that's probably the safest area. I do think though, over the next year, enterprise solutions is going to be a big play because I think they know that's where the money is. It's not on the individuals, it's the enterprises. And that's why Microsoft is one of the richest companies in the world. It's, I think there's going to be a big play on that safety things, side of things. That's why I would say ChatGPT is the most popular large language model people use, but Copilot is catching up. And if I ask people why Copilot, they will say because that's the one that we get with work. Now, I train mainly people who work in corporates, so that's my main like audience. I'm not like a YouTuber that's will train individuals, coaches, entrepreneurs. Mainly, I train people who work in organizations, so that's why. Gemini as well. That's another one that's starting to come up. Not like Copilot, but it's starting to come up quite a lot. Apparently, the Claude leak could be a clever PR stunt, and Tropic are very good at PR. See, this is the thing, Lawrence. We don't know what to believe anymore. It could well be a PR stunt, you know? It's, yeah, that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know what to believe. And we're going into a dangerous, dangerous place. This is a big one. Poor implementation. If you work for a company and you get excited about doing AI and they implement it wrong, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a huge implementation. Could be your AI policies. It could be who uses it. It could be the tools that you use. There's many different things. If you implement it in a wrong way, it could be an issue. However, that could also be individuals as well. You know, it could be us as well. If you're an individual, you work for yourself, poor implementation or what tools you decide to use, that could hold you back as well. I would say this is going to be more when we start getting into the AI agent space rather than just like the large language models, well, where we are right now. Change resistance. We kind of mentioned this already. Some people don't want to use it. Some people is like completely against AI. They don't want the change to happen. I am somebody that's looking at it, whether I like it or not, it's going to happen. So I'm saying I could either sit and close my eyes and go to sleep and hope the problem will go away, or I can kind of do something about it. And I saw this back in 2022. I was like, nah, this is too big. This is the big thing. And that's why I started pretty much bringing it into what I do now. So what I do hasn't changed. It's just that now what does it look like with an AI lens across it? So when it comes to change, this is something that I get from what I've heard since I started working in digital. Change, 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 change. But I will say this: in my 25 years experience, nothing has changed professionally. And what I mean by that is you still have something to sell. You still need to sell it somewhere, and you still have to sell it to someone. Whether the next 50 years, as long as there's the internet, as long as there's your business, that will be there. But really, when we talk about change, it's going to be what I was saying before, technology or people's behavior. They're the two things that change. And obviously, AI fits within the technology side of things. How we use it could go into the behavior side of things. Shadow AI. I made reference to this before. When I'm training organizations, this is a big thing. The bigger the brand, the more problem it is, or problematic it is. Let's say, for example, ChatGPT. We don't want people to use ChatGPT. We're worried about data privacy. We don't want our staff to use it. We've got everyone on Copilot licenses. Completely fine. Shadow AI is when people just start using whatever tools they want. It's like, all right, yeah, but Copilot is this, but I like ChatGPT, so I just use ChatGPT on a work computer. This is causing a huge problem at the moment. Not just the large language models, even with the image generators, especially if you upload your own images, with the video platforms, all of them, even note taker tools. That's why you see so many like when it comes to Teams, you have your own internal note taker, same as Zoom, but obviously Fathom and Fireflies and all of that. Not many, I don't often see that with big brands using it because of what's being said and where does that data go. So they don't like when staff use it, but staff want to use it because they've been using AI for a while and they're like, this is the best tool for us. So let's use this tool. So this plays a big part as well. What's the time? Okay, cool. This is something that we spoke about earlier as well. Lack of creativity. Now, this kind of goes into what I was saying before. A lot of this is a discipline area. It's the thing with AI, it can take away the creativity. I is AI creative? To an extent, it still needs the human side of things. I think it's poor at coming up with ideas. I really do think it's poor. You do need the storytelling. You need the person who understands how certain things need to look, feel, be seen, etc. It's a great assistant to you. For anybody who's got an ounce of creativity in them. Now, I've always said that the most creative people in your work has to be your accountant. Forget the marketing team, is your accountant has to be the most creative person. So it could be anyone from the accounts to marketing to whoever. Don't lose the gift. Don't lose the gift of creativity. This is a discipline thing. Use AI to help you and stuff, but if we're going to use AI that just looks at data all of the time, everything's going to be the same. Everything's going to be the same. What I've seen working in the music industry for 10 years plus, you get certain artists will be the same. And then out of nowhere, somebody comes out that's completely different. And then they blow up. And then you get a whole bunch of people who want to be like them. And then someone else comes along that's completely different. And everyone else wants to be like them. I very rarely do I see somebody who is huge or a group of people that pretty much sound the same that are huge, and then all of a sudden someone else comes in that's like a copy of them, and they're just as big, if not bigger. It doesn't really happen. There's usually a story behind that new person, or they sound so different. And I don't think AI is right now is capable of coming up with that. We see it on AI Live. What brings it to life, the videos, is the people who can tell the story, not necessarily the technology. The technology obviously helps, brings it to life, but the person who told the story, who can think what this person can do or how they can act or what can be going on in the background and how it goes from this scene to that scene. AI, I don't think is there yet. Even with script writing, when it comes to the stuff that I do, I try to use AI sometimes for scripts, and I'm like, I can't read this. It feels like I'm reading a script when I'm doing this. Like I just don't like it. Come up with points to talk about, but keep the creativity like you. Stay with that gift. And the last one, leadership, fear of missing out. This is similar to the one I said, which was to do with shadow AI, change resistance to an extent. But this here is because of the life cycle of certain things. The amount of people that I meet that says things like, I wish I started Google Ads in 2005. I wish I started YouTube in 2012. I wish I got on Facebook 2012. I wish I got on Instagram 2016. Because of a wish that they were late to the party on many occasions, now that this opportunity is here, they're trying to do everything. They don't want to miss out on everything. So they're just throwing a whole bunch of stuff on the wall, and then they're hoping they'll go with what sticks. But the problem with that is that they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing that and they're doing that and they're doing that and they're doing that. And all of these things are happening. And then they change and then let's do this and let's do that. But the staff are the ones who have to implement it, starts getting annoyed and then starts thinking, oh, AI is actually, I thought it was meant to save time. It's actually wasting time. Then they go for quantity rather than quality to please certain people. Or it's like one tool, I've learned this and now I can't use that tool for whatever reason. So I have to go and learn this tool and I actually like that tool. And this is a thing that I'm seeing a lot is happening as well. Because leadership, their fear of missing out is actually impacting everyone. I wished I bought Apple shares in 2000. Yeah, exactly. The amount of money we spent on iPhones, if we'd have just put that into Apple shares, we'll be multi-millionaires by now. So this leadership fear of missing out is a big one as well. So that there, I will say the 12 things. There are a few other ones, but I'm just going to stop at these 12. But these are things that we need to be aware of. Some of them will impact you immediately. Some of them you look at and say, okay, cool, not really where I am, not in where like where I'm sitting in life. But these are what I'm putting as the bad. These are things that not many people will talk about, but you can see that they're going to impact you directly, or it's going to impact somebody you might know. So how you go about dealing with it, again, that's a whole nother thing. But just understanding like these, like even with this last one, leadership, fear of missing out. I still do a lot of talks all over the world on why MySpace failed. Like what happened? How did you go from the biggest website in the world to pretty much nothing in a short space of time? And you know, what I might do is I've never actually mentioned this on a podcast, mentioned this in a thing, but I might do it on a fortnightly fix. I might just actually say, right, these are the three reasons what happened. And I'm not saying it from someone outside looking in. I'm saying that someone was there from 2006, MySpace, when it was on the way up. I I know Tom. Well, I met Tom. Yeah, like that's how much I was in MySpace. Um, I might like give you guys like a session on what happened and what you can learn from it. But one of the things was leadership, fear of missing out. You know, it's like we can't do this. We're building this site called YouTube. We're building this site called Slide. There's another site around the corner called Facebook. What are we gonna do? Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. And they're just doing a whole bunch of things. And then 2 weeks later, we're doing something else and something else and something else. So these are the things that really impacts us. Um, and I'm seeing it again. You know, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I've seen this story before, 20 years ago, but you know, the story still ends the same. Yeah, so many MySpace stories. I'm telling you, so many MySpace stories. Another one, I'll quickly tell you guys here. When I was there, you were not allowed to mention MySpace or any social media site on TV. It was in the UK, you got something called Ofcom. You'll probably have some form of regulation standards in America as well. But you were not allowed to mention it on air because essentially you're promoting somebody for free and that's not allowed. So in the UK, you got the BBC. BBC is not allowed to advertise. So the BBC can't say go to MySpace because if you say go to MySpace and MySpace is serving ads, that's that's essentially advertising it for free and that's illegal. So you were not allowed to mention MySpace or any social media site on air. And then something happened with Facebook. And then after that, everyone's talking about go to my Twitter, go to my Facebook, go to Instagram. So now you hear it all of the time. But there was a stage that you were not allowed to mention it on air. So you had to do certain things. So when I was working with MTV at the time, we was doing a competition and you had to go, if you want to enter this on the MySpace page, you have to go to mtv.co.uk/MySpace. And that page will be redirected from the MTV site to the MySpace site. So there's all of these little stories that like I can kind of tell you. And yeah, I'll do an episode. I'll write that down. I'll do an episode on MySpace and stories and Tom and Chris, who was the other boss with Tom. Brilliant. Okay then. So that's pretty much taken us up to the hour. Um, if anyone's got any questions, let us know. So Ian said, does this mean that the big corps will eventually determine what models will survive? Probably, but I don't see there being any new one that kind of comes out of nowhere right now. I would say it's going to be either Gemini, Microsoft, or ChatGPT, Claude. I can see Apple getting in there. Apparently, they've changed what they're going to do. But I've always said Apple, if they really want to get into this space, they need acquisitions, and that acquisition would be Perplexity. But I just can't see there being another one coming out of the blue unless it comes from a huge company like Amazon. I can see smaller ones. Like I can see there being one that's just dedicated to sport or just dedicated to other things, but yeah, I can't really see that. So does that mean the big corps will eventually determine what models will survive? Yes, but I still think the big ones will survive when it comes to large language models. I also think big corps will start. I think acquisitions will be huge. I think that will be huge. Like I said, MySpace was bought by News Corp. They bought MySpace, IGN, and Rotten Tomatoes all pretty much at the same time. In fact, there's another story. MTV was about to buy it, and then the last minute, News Corp came and bought them. Last week, you mentioned some good YouTubers to follow. Futurepedia, yep. Futurepedia. Matt Wolf, yep. And you mentioned a third guy I didn't catch. Igor, he does something called AI Advantage. AI Advantage, Igor. I don't know his last name. He's from, yeah, that guy. Yeah, Pogany. He's from like Slovakia or something. I like his stuff. He does some good stuff. They're the three ones, and then there's a girl called Sabrina Romanovich or something like that. She looks like she's from Thailand. She's Asian, but I'm not sure exactly where from. She's really, really good as well. They're the kind of like some people that I follow on YouTube. And then there's just random channels that I might find, or more. I like the Sabrina. Yeah, yeah. I can't remember our last name's quite a long name. Um, but yeah, then there might be random channels that I'll find, and some people talk about that. But the others, yeah, that's it. Romanov. The others I follow, I've been following for a while. I've seen the growth of these channels, so I quite like them. They're the four ones that if they post, I pretty much stop doing what I do to kind of listen to what they have to say. Brilliant. All right. So if there are no more questions, I am going to bid everyone a good night, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever your whatever time it is for you. I am going to go and eat some food. I also the next session, let us know what you want me to cover. I've not got any idea what I'm going to cover. I know it's going to be in the week. It won't be vibe coding that week, Anita, purely because I'm traveling a lot. So when I'm traveling a lot, I won't have time to really go in detail and put certain things together. When I am not traveling, that's when you see me more on my laptop. So, because I'm traveling that week, it will probably be more of a like almost like a session like this. So today, the reason why it was like this rather than me demonstrating and going and showing you stuff is because of I've been moving house, so that's another one. But hopefully you found this hour interesting, and I want you guys to kind of look at it from another area. I will though in probably a few months time. I'll talk about the ugly, and that's when we're going to talk about how the AI models are trained, the bias in them, weaponization, the environment, and all things like that. Brilliant. All right then, guys. Well, thank you very much. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day, evening, etc. And I will see you either in the podcast, the WhatsApp group, AI Live, or in 2 weeks' time. Take care.